Hey y'all, welcome back to Sass Queen Bling. Thank you for clicking on my channel today. This week's tutorial was going to be a glitter burst with the 3M sticky sheets. And I started it and I messed up my sticky sheet. Whenever you cut those 3M sheets, you want to cut through the first layer, but you don't want to cut through the sticky layer, because that's going to make it hard to wrap the tumbler, because the pieces will want to come off as you're turning the cup, if that makes sense. Anyways, normally when I do that, I will take a scrap piece like this and I will do a practice cut just to be sure that my blade is set on the correct setting. Well, I thought that I had that saved from when I cut it last time, and obviously I didn't, because when I went to apply it, I messed it all up. And anyways, I didn't have another sheet. That was the only sheet I had left, and I didn't want to waste the tumbler that I started on. So I just thought, well, what a perfect teaching moment to show y'all, if you start a cup and you messed it up, then just improvise. Just change your pattern of what you're going to do, or your ideas, and just keep going. So I just decided to do that. So this video is going to be a failure video of how to keep going when you mess that up. So, glitter burst fail, #fix. So that's what I'm going to show y'all today. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please click the subscribe button. It is totally free. There's no obligations, no strings attached. All it does is help my channel. And that's it. So let's go. This is the 3M sheet. I order them off of Crafty Thrive, and you can get them on Amazon, but the quality is not the same, so I prefer to get them from Crafty Thriving. And normally, when my machine cuts correctly, because I have the blade set at the correct setting, once it's done, then I just trim around the edge of the design and trim off the excess. And after I've trimmed it, then I just place it around the cup, because I need to see where I'm going to place it at and make sure I have it straight and where I want it to go. And then I will tape it in place with painter's tape. And now I'm just placing the painter's tape. That's going to hold it in place until I get ready to pull the backing off and apply it to the cup. And I'll show you that. Now, I do end up messing this up, but I'm just showing y'all how I would do it as I'm going before I mess it up, if that makes sense. So once I had it placed where I want it, that was when I began to remove the backing and roll the cup over onto it and then apply it to the tumbler. But that was when I messed up because my blade cut too deep and it wouldn't roll out on there correctly, and I ended up with a mess. So now I'm just going to remove all the sticky tape by rolling it. I just use my fingers and roll over it, and the glue is coming off, or the sticky sheet is coming off pretty easy. And I'm leaving the parts that went on correctly, and I'm going to use those parts. And so because that cut completely through, which it shouldn't have, which is what I messed up, the glue is just coming off around those parts that I want to keep because it's cut all the way through. So I just remove everything I don't want on there, and I'm keeping what I do want on there, which are the parts that stayed on correctly. So now that I've got that done, I'm going to take Krylon fluorescent green, Krylon fluorescent orange, and Krylon fluorescent pink. And I'm just going to make color spurts all over the tumbler. I'm just making sure I got everything off of there. I'm just going to just spurt colors here and there and here and there all over the tumbler, starting with the pink. And notice I'm not doing it up close because I don't want to get runs on this part, because this is going to show up under my epoxy, so I want the paint to be perfect. So don't hold the can up so close so that you don't get runs. Now I'm going to do the fluorescent orange. Now the fluorescent green. Now I'm just going to go back over and touch up with the different colors that I want to touch up with. If well, in the areas that I feel like I had too much green or too much of any color, I'm just going to touch those up. Now I want to apply my glitter, and I'm starting with Peachy Olive Glitter's Laser Tag. And sorry, I forgot that my camera wasn't on. And now I'm going to use Paris Island from Peachy Olive Glitters. It's a beautiful, like a neon blue to me. And I'm just going to pull the 3M off of where I want to place the glitter at. Now I'm going to apply my glitter. And when I'm using 3M, after I apply my glitter, I go ahead and press my glitter down and rub my glitter into it to get a better coverage. And normally that works, but as you will see at the end here, I don't really get the coverage that I want. I don't know why. I've used these colors before and I got really good coverage with them, but for some reason this time on this project I didn't get the coverage that I wanted, and that's why I end up blinging this cup, which I'll show you later. So I'm just going to go throughout, create this, continuing this process and covering the cup in the glitters that I want to use. I forgot to mention also, when you're doing these projects with the 3M sheets, always start with your darker colors first. I started with my Laser Tag Yellow, and I should have started with the Paris Island Blue. Always start with your darker colors first. That way you don't have to worry about your darker glitters getting onto your lighter glitters. Now I'm just applying this Sucre Junior. It's a green, a lime green or fluorescent green from Mr. Nola's Glitter. Now I'm going to use the Burn Book from Glitzy Girl Glitter. It's a beautiful neon pink. Now that I have all my glitter done, I have a perfect spot to put this Fur Mama decal right down the cup. And this was just a font that is in Silhouette Design Studio. It wasn't anything that I specially downloaded or anything. It was just one that was already in there. And I used it to make this stencil. I pulled off the letters because I want to use the outline of the decal. So I'm going to apply that. Right down the cup. I actually couldn't believe I had a perfect spot for that because I didn't plan it. I was flying by the seat of my pants on this project at this point. Now I'm just going to take the matte Mod Podge and I'm going to apply that over the stencil so that I can apply my glitter. And I'm using Guy Diamond from Peachy Olive Glitters, which is one of my absolute favorites. And I also like to tap down on the glitter just to make sure it goes down into the glue good and sticks well. Now I'm just going to remove the stencil. When you use matte Mod Podge, I just think it works better than the other because it's easy to pull off. Sometimes when I use the other gloss one, it wants to pull up my glitter in places that I don't want it to pull up. So I feel like the matte works better. And there it is. So pretty. So somehow my phone was not recording, and I did 30 milliliters of epoxy and let that turn for 12 hours. And now I'm just going to do the power wash. I'm taking the Dawn power wash and I'm just spraying it where I don't want my spray paint to go. So I'm spraying over the puppy paws and over the Fur Mama and different areas where I don't want the paint to cover. And now I'm going to take purple grape from Rust-Oleum 2 times, and I'm just going to spray that all over the cup. Making sure I get good coverage without getting any drips. And now I'm just going to rinse it off with the hose. Now that that's dry, I'm going to seal it with my polyacrylic that I get from Lowe's, and it usually takes it about 15 minutes to dry. and then I'll be ready to go in with my next layer of epoxy. Now I'm going in with 20 milliliters of epoxy. I just want a thin layer so that I can go in and apply my vinyl, which I'll show you. I meant to tell you, in my very first layer of epoxy, I did add Peachy Olive Glitters Bright because I wanted to add sparkle to all that neon paint. So I did put that in the first layer, and that's where all the sparkle is coming from. After I apply this coat of epoxy, I'll let it turn for 12 hours because I want to make sure it's good and dry before I apply vinyl. After that's turned for 12 hours, now I'm ready to apply my vinyl. I created this. I did an offset of the Fur Mama font, and after I did the offset, I selected the whole entire grouping of words, and then I clicked divide in my Silhouette Studio. And clicking divide is what gave me this outline that's going to go around the Fur Mama here. I already did the mama part. I did not realize my phone wasn't recording. Sorry. But I am going to show you how I apply it here to the Fur Mama part of it. I just cut part of the backing off to create the hinge method, so that I can make sure I get it straight over part of the word before I apply it to the rest. It just makes it easier. And that's it. After I applied the Fur Mama, I went ahead and applied some puppy paws to it also. And the puppy paws were just a design that I had already had saved. You can find them anywhere online, the Silhouette Studio store, anywhere like that. And I applied those. Now I want to apply polyacrylic because anytime I apply vinyl like that, especially holographic vinyl, I want to seal it. The holographic vinyl that I used, I got from the Vinyl People. It did not have a name on it. A lot of my products I have, y'all, I've had a while, so some things don't have labels on them and things like that. But it is from the Vinyl People, and you can go on their website and just look up holographic vinyls. So I will let this turn for 15 minutes so the polyacrylic can dry, and then I'll go in with my final layer of epoxy. Now I'm going in with 30 milliliters of epoxy, and I'm just going to apply this coat. This should be my final coat of epoxy because I sealed it with polyacrylic. I usually don't have any issues with my epoxy, so this should be my final layer. And then I will be ready to apply my rhinestones. So I'll let this coat turn 12 hours. Now I'm ready to apply my rhinestones. Right here, see how my glitter did not get good coverage? This is why I'm going to use rhinestones. And I'm going to use rhinestones that are similar to the glitter colors that I use, which are the neons. I got these from Peachy Olive Glitters, Rose Neon, Emerald Neon, Citrine Neon, and Blue Neon. And those are the colors I'm going to use, and they do match my glitter, like I said, that I used, so that will give the background a good coverage color, because when I rhinestone, I like to use a color combination underneath where I'm applying the rhinestones that matches, so that I don't have gaps showing, because that just doesn't look good. Now when I'm blinging, I like to just use the lids off of my jars that I actually put my bling in to place my stones in, so that I don't lose them all over the place. You can use a paper towel or a plate or anything like that that you want to use, but I just like these lids. Now, because I'm using scatter method, that means I'm using different sizes of stones. So I just poured different sizes of stones in each one. I'm using liquid fusion. That is what I always use when I rhinestone, and my crystal katana. This is an old one. I've had it for a very long time. I actually need a new tip. And so I'm just going to use the scatter method, which is using different sizes. And I'm going to apply the neon rose over the pink and the neon blue over the blue glitter, and so on. And when I apply my liquid fusion, I just do a small strip of it, and I work in small areas because I don't want my glue to dry before I get my rhinestones on there. So I just do a line and apply my stones one by one. It takes a lot of patience. And so I will show you here the little bit that I do, but I'm not going to record me doing this the whole process because it just takes entirely too long. But if you guys are interested in seeing me bling a tumbler, I could do a full tutorial on it. Just let me know, comment in the comments, and I can plan to do that at some point in time. Before I was working on tumblers, I was blinging my parts for my motorcycle. Not the bike that I have now, but my previous bike, or my first bike that I had, I did a lot of bling on that bike, and so that was where my blinging actually started. So if you have any questions, I can answer those to the best of my knowledge and experience that I do have. So I'm finishing up the outline of the first heart here. And if I can't butt them up right next to each other, I just make sure I have them even spaced and use the pointy end of the crystal katana to move them around where I need them at. So just like this. So I got the first pile done. So cute. And now I've got the yellow outline done around the pink. And now I'm going to go into the emerald green neon. So that's the neon green, so pretty. And I'm just going to continue on and finish blinging the whole thing the same way that I've been doing. Thank you all for your support. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please remember to click the subscribe button. It's no obligation. It's completely free. Thank you for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. Bye.